Well, I'm looking at two guys. I'm looking at two guys that if anyone like came in this business, they would be like, "Oh, that's really good that you hire retarded people." I'd be like, "Thank you." So
great way to go live and open the podcast, Johnny.
Oh, no, I'm an equal opportunity employer. Just look at these two.
Amino coffee in the cup, Johnny Fosco. You better turn down, not turn up.
There we go. Hey, Ponte, can you roll back that sticker because it's about to shut off my webcam?
Whoa.
Yes.
Don't be shutting off that dough on the webcam, boy.
No.
All right,
there
ready?
You go. Yep.
3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're going to talk about self-control, the environment, how you stay disciplined. Like, you just don't pop up out the womb and be all disciplined and have great self-control. There's processes to this. There's strategies to this. And I think this will be a path we can kind of go down. And I think it help a lot of people because, hey, we fell victim to a lot of stuff. That's for damn sure. But we figured out ways to stay out of situations. I think that's a lot of it, Johnny.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't pop out of the womb with any sort of anything, you know. I
think you popped out the womb with them biceps, Johnny.
I don't know. I
think you popped out the womb. I'm just fucking with you.
I don't remember popping out of the womb. My first memory, shame on him, was my brother throwing me down the fucking stairs. I think I was 3.5 years old. That asshole.
No shit.
Fuck you, Dominic. That was my first memory. But yeah, listen, we didn't come out of the womb with any of this stuff. This is all learned behavior. Yep. So I'm looking forward to getting into it.
You like that reference, pop out the womb?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the visuals I associate with that aren't the best, but you know.
That's some Corey G slang for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got my whole own language from time to time.
There you go. There you go.
And my own spelling bee.
Oh, your spelling bee is amazing. Like your spelling bee is like with our friend Jason, the Special Olympics.
Jay's on. Yeah, me and Jay, we share that for sure.
Yeah, he's doing shot put. You're hosting the spelling bee. Yeah.
Hey, before we get into the self-control stuff, obviously South Carolina, this is real-time stuff, but South Carolina is essentially reopened, right?
Reopened with a stay-at-home order for the people. So go figure. Go tell the businesses.
So Johnny,
open up.
What do you do about that?
I don't fucking know. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's a mind fuck. It's like, all right, everybody, open up. Okay, everyone needs to stay home. So like all the business owners are looking at each other like, you want to come in and have a beer? Like there's nothing to do.
The business owners are all in attendance, but all the people are at home.
All the people are at fucking home. Exactly. So, you know, it feels kind of good, but it kind of feels fake news and nobody knows if this is the right move or the wrong move. Mm-hmm. I think we all just have to take our own precautions, whether that be getting our own masks. As business owners, we have to do things like, post signs and put markers on the floor to separate people, 6 feet apart, and have, more procedures in terms of, I don't even like to say social distances because I've heard it so many fucking times, but just separating people. So, listen, I don't think things will ever get back to normal. I truly don't. I just think we have to adapt and do business differently.
Yeah, we're going to have a new normal that's not maybe going to be as severe as what it is right now, but it's going to settle somewhere in between where we used to be and where we are now, right?
And here's what I'll say, and I've been progressively just getting very angry about this. I think the problem is I would say 90% plus of the people take their information in from the news, and I think the news has done a very poor job in making clear to let's say the 50 and unders or the 40 and unders. This thing isn't going to kill you. Like the mortality rate's like 0.3. Like we have to get death out of our heads for healthy people, unless you have a pre-existing condition that pneumonia could fucking throttle, right? Like lung issues. Like we got to get death out of our head because that will spark more movement. But we also have to understand that there has to be a different set of protections for older people. But we really, as healthier people, we have to get death out of our head, because that is just, every time we get in the car, do we think about death? Every time we get on a plane? No, man. So we just got to get death off the table.
Johnny, that's, I don't know. I guess that's interesting. you saying that with you having a death in the family, I think,
Correct.
related to this. So me hearing you say that, actually, I was kind of like, whoa, wait a second. John just experienced an aunt that passed away from COVID, you believe. So that being said, which I'm sorry for your loss.
I don't believe. Yeah, it's a fact. But she was 72 years old, and she had suffered through cancer twice, and she tried to get a test. It took 7 days, got it, and basically didn't come in time, and it killed her. And my point with taking death off the table is healthy people. Right.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't be classified as healthy, and she's in the at-risk age group. I'm just saying, like I said, for the 50s and unders or the 40s and unders who are healthy people, let's get death off the table. Now, I do strongly believe that's why I'm not seeing my mother right now. I tell her, don't leave the fucking house, all this stuff, that at high risk group, death is very real. It's very real. And that's why I think eventually, if we're going to do this right, we have to have a different set of laws and or rules and or guidelines based on age and or pre-existing condition.
Yeah. The reason why I brought that up, Johnny, is not to, obviously beat on that point, because I'm sorry for your loss, but it was more about sometimes when people hear somebody say what you just said previous to that, they don't know anyone or haven't experienced loss from the actual virus. And I think it's important that people know, like, you just said what you said, you believe it, and you experienced something directly.
Yeah, my aunt died this weekend.
Yeah, like that's fucking real, bro. And a lot of people don't, they haven't, I don't know anybody that's got it. You know what I'm saying? And then you hear them spouting off. So that's why I brought that up. Sorry, it was more to showcase that, like, yo, this is happening to people you fucking know, whether you believe it or not. John experienced this, and she couldn't get what she needed. It sucks.
She absolutely couldn't. And I think for people who are older, this is the most dangerous thing they'll ever face in their life. I'm just saying, like we talked about yesterday, I could have already had this thing. You could have had it. So many people we know, based on statistics, I heard someone talking, because of the lack of testing, right? And we know we have over 1 million confirmed cases now. Because of the lack of testing, this one scientist, Osterholm, who's like the leading guy who came out on Rogan, and now everyone's talking to him on CNN, Fox, all this stuff. He said he believes 15% of the American population at a minimum has had this disease already. But just due to the lack of testing, we don't know. So that's what I'm saying. This drumbeat of death. Let's just get it out of our heads if we're healthy people. And that may sound irresponsible, but we're opening up the economy. Okay, so if getting death out of your head sounds irresponsible, and you're like, why would you say that? Well, we're opening up the economy, people. We're going to be seeing people. So we can't live in these dark doldrums. Okay. We just have to be aware the difference between a younger person and an older person.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. All right. Well said, Johnny. Yep. All right. On to the kind of topic of self-control. People hear discipline, self-control, and they think that, they automatically have to have some amazing, magical thing so they can stay consistent on their diet or their business or whatever it is that they're trying to adhere to. And what I really wanted to bring up and hear some of your stories from your past and future, like, what are some of the ways that we continue the momentum of having that discipline or self-control? And a lot of it is environment based. A lot of it is understanding yourself, like what situations you can't put yourself in. So what is like your, I guess, kind of thought process on things that were out of control at times because of certain processes, and then how you got them either in control because of certain processes, Johnny?
Yeah. It's and we talked about this yesterday because you had sent out an article or a clip from an article that made a lot of sense, and it's so true. It's not necessarily, and I agree with it entirely. Having great self-control. People who display what others view as great self-control isn't necessarily great self-control. It's more about understanding your weaknesses or what tempts you, your temptations, and knowing how to stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? Because then you don't get put in a situation where your self-control is tested. So essentially, if you understand yourself, like I know, I remember like the last time I really got into a very vicious physical altercation, something very bad happened. I knew at that moment, like, this shit can't happen anymore. So what did I have to do? I had to stop going places where I would see certain groups of people that might spark up some, like I had to not put myself in that position. I used to, pop pills every day for 4 years. I was addicted to that. After I got through that, I had some very, very good friends, and they're not bad people, but they also would take pills. It was absolutely non-negotiable. They had to be cut out of my life, because if I'm hanging out with them, they're taking pills. As someone who's getting off it or clean, I'm always going to be tempted. So it's about not putting myself in that situation. So I just think that what people view as discipline is more understanding, awareness and understanding yourself and knowing what tempts you.
Yeah. And I remember having problems like at first adhering to a diet. That's like the biggest thing that people always ask. Like, I don't understand how you're so disciplined. I don't understand how this. And yeah, I would go through, you got to have a goal, you got to this, whatever. But really what I started to realize it was I didn't purchase the things at the grocery store that I knew. Like, listen, I love fucking pumpkin pie. I love it. I eat it for my birthday. I don't eat cake. Like I could eat pumpkin pie every day. If there's a pumpkin pie in my fridge, I'm going to fucking eat it. And I'm probably going to eat it in one sitting. Like I just know that about myself, right? So why would I then buy that, put it in my fridge, and it will talk to me every day until I eat it? Now people are
Oreos.
Right. So I think Oreos is a hard number 2 for me, bro.
It's like crack cocaine, dude.
Dude, and I eat a sleeve in an instant, boy.
Dude, I can eat a sleeve before you fucking blink.
Exactly. So once again, if you continually buy those, what's going to happen to them, John?
They're going to go in my stomach.
Feed my belly.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, once again, it's like the definition of insanity. If you keep getting the same result because you keep buying this shit, putting it in your house, you're going to fall victim. So I really started to get like Rachel on board with a lot of times these things that we like item wise don't cross over a whole bunch with the kids to me. And I like something that different. So it's like she's buying the so-called junk food that I still want the kids to be able to eat and do whatever, but it don't really move the needle for me. So it's not a big deal. So I might appear, I'm making milkshakes for my kids every night. I love ice cream, but not as much as I love pumpkin pie and fucking Oreos. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I might appear like I'm being super disciplined, but it's really because I'm dodging this stuff that I know I'll fall victim to.
Yeah,
and really,
in the house.
No, and really, you could apply that to anything. One of the other things during the MP days, when we'd be at these trade shows, there'd be all these females all over the place. And the biggest question I'd have from all these people, like, dude, how are you being? It's John's laughing, but this is why people will be like, how are you being like faithful to your wife? Now, one, that's a big part of like what I'm about, but two, I'm not going to be drunk at the club at 2 a.m. to allow myself to fall victim to that. Like you stay out of like, I stay in my fucking hotel room. I'm not out here going, yo, you want to get some free protein? You want me to put you on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what a lot of motherfuckers are doing. And if you're single, do your thing, Wode. But at the end of the day, like for me,
wait, what was that word you just said?
Wode.
I don't
That's
know
an old Master P term, John. Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I had a no limit tank. I mean,
like the actual tank or a tank top?
No, like an actual, like an actual tank. I believe
like the
it was
gold tank.
I believe it was a limited edition pre-order on one.
There
of
you
the
go.
Story.
And so,
Wode. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that means. What does that mean for all the
I don't know
non-mild wiggers that are listening?
This guy. No, I don't know the actual term. But that's how you use
kinda
it in
like
context.
Bling bling. Kind of like bling bling.
It's in that ballpark, John. I would say.
Okay.
Anyway, so the Wodes, I would make sure that you just keep yourself out of the situation. I lost my train of thought, but I'm gonna throw it back to you.
No, I mean, I always say it. You look at everybody, and I've touched on this before, who comes to prominence, and almost all of them get taken down because they cannot control their penis. Like
No shit.
They cannot control their penis around women who want to tempt them and their penis. And the problem is the more prominent you become, the more money you have, the more visible you are, the more things you have, there's more women who want to tempt your penis. And because men are genetically created to spread seed, it's extremely fucking hard to control your penis. Extremely hard. That's why people need to manage their dick.
Manage your dick program.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, women are always, more than drugs, honestly, more than drugs, are always going to be man's greatest temptation. And typically it connects with men who have something that women want. Listen, when you're younger, I think women are into a good looking guy, in shape, all this stuff. When you start growing up a little bit, they're looking at, what you own, how much money you have, and it's all different. So shit gets thrown at you. But yeah, that always will be the hardest thing. And you could look at a news story every week of some fucking business mogul who gets taken down. Like we've talked about this before. Jeff Bezos' wife, just for divorcing him, is the third richest woman in the world, just because he sent pictures of his penis to some 21-year-old custodian or something. I mean, she's worth like 40 billion.
And think about how smart Jeff Bezos is, and he had a lack in judgment.
That's my point. The smartest man probably on the planet. I mean, I would love him to be running our federal response right now, and he's sending his penis out.
When you put that into perspective, it's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. Like, you're not going to get blackmailed? Are you fucking kidding me? Your net worth is $137 billion. You're like the modern day Rockefeller. Like, you're not going to get blackmailed. And here's what's awesome. A lot of people don't know about that. Is the dude who fucking owns the National Enquirer went to him and was like, listen, bro.
That old David Pecker dude?
I believe so. Yeah.
He's a fucking douchebag, but go ahead.
Yeah. He's like, I got pics of your penis that you sent out. We acquired them. And he's like, basically was looking for a payoff. So Bezos published that shit because he owns the Washington Post. And he's like, fuck you. Put my fucking dick out. You think you're going to extort me? And he turned it right back around on him. And he was like, fuck that guy. Yeah. He's like, do it. So, Jeff paid, I believe the sum was 18.3 million shares of Amazon stock. Get your calculators out. I believe it's at 2,400 right now. That's what his wife got. 18.3 million shares of Amazon. So
I don't know about you, Johnny, but I just bring the chick in on the private jet and show her my wiener. I wouldn't have to fucking send a pic of it out.
Listen,
right?
It amazes me.
$18 billion pic? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, a $40 billion pic. It amazes me what a penis could make a man do. Honestly, till we die. Because I mean, there's 70-year-olds, it's unbelievable what the penis does. You know what I'm saying? I wonder how much subconscious decision making. And no, seriously,
thinking with the wrong head.
You're like fucking at the grocery store and you're like getting deli meat. Like, is there some form of penile thought that's driving your decision making? I don't know. All I know is
why you're getting a fucking sandwich.
Yeah, I don't know.
Trey, what's this guy talking about?
I don't know, but all I'm saying is it works into our daily thoughts.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know how deep this runs.
I don't know how deep it runs either, Johnny.
I don't know. I don't know.
This guy. I got a story for you about David Pecker, though. So John mentioned David Pecker, who owned the National Enquirer. Well, David Pecker also owned Men's Fitness and Muscle and Fitness too. And this motherfucker, he had Trump blackmailed too, I think, or he got covered.
Him and Trump are fucking
he was wrapped up in that shit too. So this motherfucker, I had dinner with this guy one time, right? He says to me, he's a piece of shit, bro. He has dinner with me one time, and he said, I sit down with him, and our boy Mannion set it up. And he goes, man, I want to tell your story to the fitness world about being a coal miner and starting this business. I was at MP at the time. And he's like, I think you'd be a great cover for Men's Fitness. I think it would inspire a lot of people. And Johnny, you know, most of my dialogues have been men's health, men's fitness, muscle fitness, the big players. I was so excited. I'm not going to say I was about to cry, but I'm telling you, it felt like I finally got a big time motherfucker that gets what I'm about. And this is going to be sweet. Big distribution, newsstands, everything. So the next day, right, I'm pumped, handshake, I'm out, no money, no nothing. He said, just want to tell the story. Here we go. Next day, you know me, I follow up is the gold part. I follow up. I email him, hey, Mr. Pecker. Kind of funny, right? Hey, Mr. Pecker, man, that conversation was amazing. When would you like to schedule the photo shoot? I can't tell you, this is a dream come true for me. Blah, blah, blah. Motherfucker emails me back and says, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, I never said that. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? And then he goes like this. And then he goes like this. He goes, but now that you say something, I think you should sponsor the live stream at the Olympia. And this is what he wrote. And I expect you, this motherfucker, like he owns me. And I expect you to pay $50,000 for that. And I'll think about putting you in an inside page. That's what the fucking dude wrote back to me.
I would say suck my dick.
Oh, Johnny.
Back to the dicks, right? Back to the
yeah,
you know?
Dude, I was ready to kill this motherfucker. I was so mad. And I wrote back something very similar to that. Like, motherfucker, you don't own me. Fuck off, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, how, after he heard what I said, and it was his idea, he's the one that asked me to dinner. It was he is a piece of fucking shit, bro.
Well,
unbelievable.
Bezos got him for you.
And that's my point. So I'm going to buy more stock in Amazon just because of that.
Yeah,
but
just because of Jeff's penis.
So once again, like, even if it comes to a business thing, right, John, it's like, if you hit happy hour, if you go to the bar on Thursday that your production's going to be down on a Friday, like, you have to put checks and balances on yourself within your life to have obviously some balance of social interaction once the distancing stuff is over. But there's like, you have to really like run an audit on yourself, right? To some degree, to see like, yo, where am I having problems at? And am I putting myself in these, am I putting myself in an unfortunate, situation to make the wrong decision?
Dude, yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. Here's what I could say. Like, so where I live right now, you can, I could walk out of my place.
You can make a lot of bad decisions there, Johnny.
and honestly, almost any time of the day, any day, or any time of the night, I can go somewhere where there's a lot of women, and I could feast. But the problem is once I do that, I'll keep doing it. And I've done this earlier in my life, and I'll keep doing it. And then that will take away from everything I'm trying to do right now. So what I do is I don't even do it. I'll do it maybe if there's like a birthday or something.
An event.
Like that. Right. But it's so readily available everywhere that you have to, it's almost like I always was interested when I used to go to Vegas a lot for the UFC, that everyone who lived there just said, hey, here's how it is. If you live here, you don't go to the strip. Like you just don't do it. And it's for that same reason, because there's all the vices, all the partying, all the like. So if you want to like live a normal life in Nevada, you don't fucking go to Las Vegas. You don't go, even if you live in Las Vegas, you don't go to the strip. So that's kind of like how people have to live. And I saw it when I lived in Miami. Most people who lived in South Beach were there to live in South Beach and suck up all that.
To be a degenerate, basically.
To party, to go out every night. I mean, people are eating dinner at 11 o'clock, midnight. They're coming home at 9 a.m., whatever, and then they're fucking repeating it. So you can't sustain that. And all that time that goes by that you do that, you're not building anything. So I know we have aspirational listeners, whether you live in a place where there's temptation everywhere, or don't, you may look forward to, I'd rather live there. Well, once you live there, you better fucking be disciplined, because the place that you dream of can ruin you so quickly. So you just have to fucking be aware.
That's fucking super facts right there, because you think, oh my gosh, I'll be able to go to my favorite wine bar. Oh my gosh, I'll be able to take walks by the ocean. Oh my gosh. But then when you're doing it every night, you can't control it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Right, Johnny? I mean, and then productivity, things that you were good at before, things that you could count on before ain't as automatic.
No,
Real fucking quick.
no,
Real fucking quick. And
no.
that's why I always talk about when I talk about my diet strategy, I'm like, or drinking strategy, because I like drinking beer just like the next person, but I'm not drinking beer in my world. If I drink beer on Tuesday, then I would be more susceptible to eating the Oreos or the pumpkin pie because my discipline level is knocked down a little bit because I got a little buzz going. That's just the fucking truth. Same thing when it happens to females, right? If you're putting yourself in those strip joints, you're drinking all the time, you're going to have a higher grader of opportunity basically.
I don't know about
fail.
strip joints. I'm not a fan, but
yeah, but I was just using that as an example.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, like you're putting yourself in an environment for that type of activity. So my thing is like, that's why I was talking about why are you drinking on Tuesday afternoon? If your Friday night work's done, you don't have anything crazy planned for Saturday, you're not going to be, your productivity is not going to be down if you sleep in or whatever. Like, I just like to think about, there's got to be more strategies based around the lifestyle stuff so you can then be productive. And I know a lot of people just don't think past right now.
Well, they think what you're saying is boring.
I know, and it is boring. And I've had people say I'm boring.
Listen,
I'm a boring motherfucker. I mean,
so am I. So am I. So am I.
But I feel like our stories ain't that boring, Johnny. I don't feel like we're boring. We've had a boring life.
No. But the day in, the day out, most people would be like, yeah, that's boring. And guess what? It is from the outside looking in, but it's all
you said that.
What you make of it, because I can have a lot of fun. See that, and that's why I can maybe have some success, or you can have some success that other people can't, because I can have a lot of fun doing what other people look at as work or as a job. I can have a lot of fucking fun doing it, and that's why I could probably get a better result than other people. So if fun to you is being at the bar fucking 4 nights a week till 2 a.m. and work is like, oh fuck, man, I gotta work. You're never going to excel. I promise you, you're never going to excel. So I think finding enjoyment in the things that most people find boring is almost a secret to winning, in some way, shape, or form.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because all the stuff we're speaking about, people are like, well, fuck that. I feel like I'd have a shitty life if I just did that day in and day out. But I don't feel like,
well, then you got to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah,
that's what you got to run against it. What do I want? Well, I want a really good career. I want to be able to provide. Okay, motherfucker, you want a really good career? You want to be able to provide for your family? How are you going to do that? How the fuck are you even going to start a family? How are you even going to have money to provide if you're living with 3 motherfuckers right now? You're partying every night. You have $1,200 in your fucking checking and savings. How are you going to do? You can't. So what you want, you have to run against your lifestyle. And if it ain't fucking working, welcome to the boring club. But you know what I'm saying? But the key part of the boring club is making boring fun. And that may sound fucking cheesy. Call me cheesy. Fucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go for it.
Cheese curds over here. Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
No, but
I got a lot of stories. Trust me.
Oh, that's my point. It's like you're saying this stuff, but I know you've lived like 4 lives, bro.
Oh shit! Yeah, I gotta talk to you after the show about yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't talk about it right now. Sorry.
Well, and I think that this is kind of an interesting concept, because all of the boring, essential daily stuff leads to rooms and opportunities and things that other people can't even get to. So that's what I think is interesting, right? About that process, that it might not be fucking popping bottles Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but motherfucker, when the bottles is popped, it's like, metaphorically, like some real ass shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's like monumental because of that style. In my opinion, it feels like the things that you're building up to or leading up to or preparing yourself for, then you actually have a better chance at actually achieving.
Well, yeah. Okay. So you talk about popping bottles.
Popping in bottles, Johnny.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's okay. People look forward to it. But like, okay. So let's say you're popping bottles. What are you really doing? Right. What are you really? Let's go one step deeper.
I knew you'd love that.
You're spending a lot of money to attract people around you that do not give a shit about you. So when you attract these people who care nothing about you, but it feels like they give a fuck about you because they're attracted to you. Well, the only reason they're attracted to you is because they want to drink your alcohol and they want your seat at the club. You're attracting terrible people who will not last. They'll only last as long as that bottle will last.
Money.
So what are you really doing? It's all fake. They're all fake. You're fake. It's all fake news, right? So like you're basically freezing yourself in time with fake people in activities that are unsustainable. Like you are guaranteed, unless you are so rich and you've been given so much money as a child from previous generations that are extremely wealthy, you can't keep that up. It's going to wear you out, and all that money you spend and all that time you spent and all that focus you put into who's going to be at my table and that could have been put towards something productive. And I know it's not fun, but it's real and it's sustainable. And you can build a big house one day if you wanted, or you could have investments, or you can have business, all this other stuff that we think of I'd rather be doing, right? Like, popping bottles, going here, it's not sustainable without discipline. It's not sustainable. You can do it here, you can do it there, and then guess what? You start at the bottom again. Guess what? I got to work hard these next 3 months because I want to go to Italy. And in Italy, I heard the pussy's awesome, bro, and they just love America. Okay, you go to Italy, you work hard for 3 months. You have $4,000. You blow it all. Oh, I got to work hard again because I want to go to Australia, bro. It's sick. There's kangaroos. It's just think about what you're really thinking about.
Well, I remember the first time I was in the pop bottle situation. I wasn't popping no bottles. I don't know if I've actually physically popped a bottle personally, but I was, invited to go somewhere, and the actual table thing was kind of stupid. But when I saw the check come, I had never really made a serious amount of money yet.
Right.
I saw this motherfucker sign. We were there for, I don't know, 3-4 hours. Dropped like 19 grand. And I know you've seen way more than that in your day. I was thinking to myself, like, I don't even really necessarily like college straight up. I think we already know that. But motherfucker, that's like 1 year of college at a decent university that this motherfucker just signed on his debit card, and we got nothing for it. Like,
he got a huge ego stroke.
But
for 3 hours, that shows you how weak people are.
Get the fuck now. Like you said, if there's money that ain't running out, that's a different set of rules.
But you're still living a pointless life. You're still living a pointless life unless you just want to fuck bottle waitresses every day, all day, which I'm not saying is terrible.
Which might be terrible for a short period of time.
I'm not saying it's terrible, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Well, John, let's talk about Miami for a second. So listen, you said something a little bit earlier about being in an environment that could lend to certain things like you just spoke about, is like that because you built businesses within this environment, and you were in Miami, what, 3 years or less?
Yes.
3 years, right?
Yeah, like three, a little over. Yeah, a little
when
over
you
three.
got when you got our account, though, you weren't in Miami yet. You moved there shortly after, right? Or were you in Miami?
I moved there probably
a year later,
4 or 5 months after.
Okay, so a lot of your bigger clients came prior to that move. Is that accurate?
A lot of the bigger clients came after that.
Okay, so you did build within that environment,
100%.
But you were also maybe known as the boring dude in the crew to some degree.
100%.
So speak about that a little bit, because South Beach is like a whole different smorgasbord of tough decisions.
South Beach is like this. I remember the first day I was there. The first fucking day. There's something called Lincoln Mall, and Lincoln Mall is basically just like this outdoor mall that kind of is just in the middle. Guys, South Beach is only 6 miles long by like a mile wide. It's a very small place. So I was in Lincoln Mall, which is outdoor mall. You're walking, and this fucking mother with 2 kids and her husband, I'm like, what the fuck is it? What is she staring at? And I'm like, damn, okay, she doesn't look bad. She literally tells her husband, she's like, oh, go get there was like an ice cream. Go get the kids some ice cream. and the husband takes the kids to get ice cream. She fucking walks straight up to me. She goes, "Are you new here?" I'm like, "How the fuck do you know that?" Yeah. And she gave me her name and she gave me her phone number and winked and fucking walked back to her husband. That's what South Beach is. Everyone will fuck everyone can fuck everyone. So it's like, I'm telling you, so how do you not leave your house as a single man when, by the way, there's like 80 modeling agencies based in South Beach? How do you not leave your house and just indulge in debauchery? Yeah. How don't you do it? Well, I had to figure out a way to do it. So I one day a week I would be a degenerate. That was Saturday during the day, and yeah.
So but that's a daily thing in that environment, though. Dudes are doing this on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Like everything is like a club. Like if you go to a smoothie bar, number one, like club music's always playing, and literally you could, like, whoever is in front of you, behind you, like, you could say a couple words and just have sex with them in 5 minutes. I'm not kidding.
I'm the naive country boy over here. Like, been married for 20 years.
Hey. Jesus Christ.
So, John, so obviously going through that process, right? Being in I've been to South Beach a couple of times, but obviously I never lived there, and especially not single. And so going through that, building a business, being removed from that environment for a while, being in Cali, being in Ohio, and then returning to an environment that you're choosing to live in at a long-term basis for what it's saying, but that has similar, but not maybe as crazy temptations.
Similar, but very different.
Okay. Different how?
So the Deep South, where Charleston is the base of it. There's like an underbelly. The underbelly of this area is conservative Christian values. Mm-hmm. So what's very accepted here is alcohol. Alcohol is very accepted here. Drugs aren't that accepted here. They're not that accepted here. So I'll compare that with Miami. The underbelly of Miami.
Cocaine.
Correct. Cocaine built Miami. It's a fact. You know, the drug cartels, invested their money in
Tony
Miami,
Montana.
Straight up. So the underbelly here it has some values. Can people argue that Southern whatever? I'm not going to get into that. So there's some values here. And also, the people who live here, this is not a tourist-only economy. So you have suburbs where people work normal jobs, and you have people who, are in marketing, are in banking, are in every kind of business. South Beach, everything is tourism. Everything is tourism.
And everyone's transplants kind of too, a lot, right?
Exactly. You're never going to find like a Miami native unless you go off South Beach into like let's say a Cuban area.
Yeah.
In Miami. So yeah. They're very different like that. Like the underbelly here is much more wholesome.
There's somebody that actually asked a question that I could actually see too. So I'm going to bring it up. Like, he's listening to the podcast and he's saying, okay, what happens if I fell out of my habits because I was in an environment like this? What is the best way to kind of get back on track to then make yourself back on that track for success? Because everybody falls victim to something at some time or another.
Yeah, dude. We're all
human.
Yeah. So I think like we can reward ourselves. So it's like, if you like going out and having a good time, fucking, once every 2 weeks or something, like take a day and do that. I'm not saying that's terrible, but when it becomes a habit, like every day, or much more than that, that's a problem. So if you fell out of your habits, just look at the result that yielded. So I fell out of my habits and this happened. When I'm in my habits, this happens. Just compare the two results, and that should tell you what you need to do very quick. You know what I'm saying? It's like outcomes. They're connected to both. So compare the two outcomes. Which do you like better? If you like the one when you're disciplined, well, that tells you need to go that way. If you like being broke, hungover, not being able to see in the morning, and not knowing the girl's name in your bed, I mean that's your call. But I think looking at outcomes is the easiest way to dictate that answer.
A lot of this comes down to short-term versus long-term thinking too, John, because these temptations, which is, a great way to explain it, to overcome them in the short term for a long-term solution of the outcome that you're hoping for with your goals, a business, or maybe from a personal standpoint, like that's really like I mean, in every case scenario, people are always dealing with that. And you got to make those decisions. And they're a little easier made if you don't continue to put yourself right up in that environment every fucking day. You wouldn't go to the guy's house, you know, that's going to be on the boat by 11 with unlimited beer, with unlimited girls. Cause if you do that and you're going to say hi, eventually he's going to like, hey man, why don't you just jump on with me today? Like, I know you saw that.
He's probably got unlimited drugs too.
Exactly. You know? If there's that many girls, there's probably unlimited drugs on top of it. So
yeah, no disrespect to women though.
Isn't it funny how you start down rabbit holes of conversations and those? I'm sure plenty of things have hit your brain because I see you laughing. Like I can't see you real well.
It's the truth. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. The truth is why, where there is a lot of drugs, is there always a lot of women. Women, I'm not throwing a shot at you.
Please tell me, John. I don't know.
Yo, you want to know? I'll tell you.
No, I do.
Okay. Well, here, I'll just put it like this. Would you?
I'm on the edge of my seat over here.
if you could go to the grocery store, get all the food you want, and not pay for it, would you?
Yeah, especially
you'd probably be at the grocery store a lot if everything was free, right?
True. There you go.
So,
yeah, and if you're not paying in the Paducey, you know, on top of it, you're getting away with it. Then that's what it is.
You know. So
interesting.
Yeah, but nothing in this world is for free. There's just different currency.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth, huh?
So
well, so all right, I got a point of view. I want to discuss.
Yes.
So, you know, people hear you laughing, talking about, you know, some of those times, and it'd be easy to say, like, well, John lived it, so that's why you can have this point of view. Am I supposed to then have like, you know, just be a fucking boring dude for 20 years, but I didn't live? I think there's a lot of that.
That's a very valid point.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to you to say, because I've heard your stories. I've never lived some of that stuff. You know, I've seen outside versions of it, but, you know, and then it's like, well, why? I don't know. You know, I think there's people that could wrestle with that a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. But here's what I'll say is that you have to find humor in things that are done with, right? Like they're over and done with. So I could regret things because a lot of those times that we can laugh about and this and that, like on the other side of them, that's what's not being discussed is the pain and the trouble that it caused, right? Yeah. So we're laughing at the surface stuff because it's over and it's done with, you know, boom, it's in the past. But if you're like, dude, I got to live a little bit, like, I get that. And that's why I think I was having this conversation the other day. Why for younger dudes or younger gals, give yourself truly, if I could do it over, this is how I do it. I would give myself a reward system. Like, okay, here's what I want in life, right? So it's business and biceps. I want to have a good career. All right. If I fucking, you know, smoke it at work this week, and you guys know your own metrics. I don't know what job you have. If I smoke it at work this week, I get to go out Saturday. Set up like reward systems so you earn shit, you know, so you earn a good time. Don't just do it, because I do understand that. And I don't want everyone to just say, work, that's it. But I just would recommend earning it. And like everything else, man, everything that's managed in life with moderation can work.
Yes.
So I think you manage it with moderation and you give it to yourself on a reward system, but you have to be disciplined to do that.
Yeah. I like that, John. It's that Arnold said having a little dysfunction with all the discipline is not a bad thing. I mean, at the end of the day, that's true, but it has to be, you know, balanced.
It has to be a little.
It has to be a little.
Yeah.
he's had some dysfunction here and there.
I'm sure he's had a lot more than we know about.
Yeah, I'm sure. Especially in the 70s, right?
Oh boy.
Oh man, could you imagine, John?
Oh my God.
It would have been unbelievable. But I think that's where you know, from my fitness type of content, where I try to showcase that on Friday, I can't wait to eat wings and drink beer and do those type of things, because I used to be the guy that, you know, wouldn't want to show it or didn't even partake in it because I was so fucking disciplined. Now I mean, that's really how I've always wanted to live. And I finally fucking figured it out and I'm able to do it. And I love it. Yeah. And it does make it, because if I do smoke work for a week, that work hard, play hard is a actual real cliche type of thing, but it's kind of true, really.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a comment that was said to me, I'm sure you could fall into this category. I was like a month ago, someone was like, I don't understand you. And it was just on this, right? It was like one night I went out for a little bit. Like, I don't understand you. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what do you mean? Like, why aren't you fucking out more, doing this more, doing that more? I'm like, dude, because I'm focused on other things. He's like, if I was fucking you, working out every morning, I would legitimately be running around naked right now, fucking everybody. He's like, every night. He's like, why do you do it? What's the point? What's the point? Why do you work out? Why do you fucking drive that car? I would be running around naked. I'm like, dude, like, but that's how people think. You know,
that's amazing.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people look at it like, okay, so you stay in good shape. We stay in good shape. You have you have all these things that, let's say, appeal to women, from a body to possession. What are you doing not using that to fucking smash all day?
Yeah, old dudes that have never had either. Yeah, they're like fucking tripping on it too.
And the truth is I know we're going down another path.
That doesn't fulfill you though.
Well, not only does it not fulfill me, but it's like, dude, okay, here's the thing. Sex is cool. Sex is fucking fun. Can be really cool. But when, like, it's almost like act like you've been there before. So because I've had a lot of sex to me isn't like, oh my God, bro, fucking you got laid. Like, okay, that's like when I was fucking 19. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not 19 anymore. And like the whole fucking purpose of my life isn't to like, oh, fucking, hey, dude, another, but sure, you want to fuck, you know what I'm saying? And you got to let it out. Yeah. But like the whole point isn't that. And I think for young men, especially dudes in their 20s, it's all about like, bro, let's go out, let's fuck. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that really is not a, like, act like you've been there before. It's not real. You're not that cool if you get laid. I'm sorry. Like, you're not that cool.
Like, you should.
Like a lot of people get laid.
I would say you should be able to get laid.
Yeah, a lot of people get laid.
You don't need a fucking trophy.
Yeah, you're not that cool. So, like, if that's the focus of your life, maybe you should question your. I don't know.
I was trying to think of some.
I am a huge pervert. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna fucking lie on that one. But anyway.
Well, yeah, John. At the end of the day, you just have some checks and balances to keep everything in line. That's really, everyone has to find out. And I think you said it a little bit ago. You have to find out what really you want or you're about, and that could change, and probably has changed over time, right?
Yeah, right.
Different types of whatever projects you're in, places you're living, things you're about. They could be in balance, out of balance at times, but you have to, for what you're after and what you want, like the things that I want in my business and in my life and physically or mentally, to be healthy, I know what schedule is necessary to keep that. And I saw a yielded result from it. So it's like, I know if it gets out of balance, I already know what the result's going to be. Yeah, I could cheat the system for a little bit and get away with it, but long-term, I just can't. It's just impossible. So
makes sense.
Man,
I mean,
where else do we go with this, Johnny? With the self-control, you think we pretty much beat that up? There was one other question that came in right here. It said, what kind of experience do you guys have with dealing with fake friends? This is like this is a big young. I don't know if it's a younger person topic thing, but
bro, that's so relevant for like I have fucking tons of I think everybody does, and it's like. Here, a fake friends.
What's your definition, John?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We get into social groups, and let's say the social group is, us 5 guys, go out, or us 5 guys and 3 girls, whatever. And because it's convenient to have a number of people, a group of people to go out with, you want to believe they're your friends, but they're not most of the time. You are convenient, just like they are convenient to you, because you have an aligned interest at that point in time. And what that aligned interest is to go out, is to get wasted. You have a similar interest. Now, Now, once one of you or or two of you or three of you have different interests, get a girlfriend, get a boyfriend, you will find out very quickly that person was never your friend. I think this is what we need to decipher. Do we just have aligned interests, or is this someone that I know never talks about me behind my back, that I can fucking trust, that has shown that they're fucking loyal, that actually cares about me as a person? And it's up to you listening how you apply whatever metrics you apply to gauge that. But you need to really think about, do we just have aligned interests at this point in time? Which I think that's what breeds fake friends. Or does this person actually care about me? And that's why I could say, my fucking real friends, I can count on one hand, because other people that have come in and out of my life, we've had aligned interests at a certain point in time.
Yeah, and you got to figure a lot of the aligned interests have to deal with entertaining yourselves. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where it's like, yeah, everyone can be cool because they're getting fucking hammered together and chasing chicks. Like, that's easy, right? That's easy to align on.
There's no depth. You don't get to know the person. You just know, hey, bro, check out that piece. You know what I'm saying?
It's super surface, which is why the friendships surface.
Right. It's easy. Oh, yeah, you want to go watch the game on Sunday? That's badass.
Fantasy draft.
Yeah. Oh, you're a douchebag. You're like, listen to how you talk. You're actually a douchebag. That's what a douchebag is. Stop being a fucking douchebag.
Yeah. As I think about that type of stuff, it's like, it's so hard, John, to make real friends as, I guess, an adult. Like, after your friends that know you, like the motherfuckers that really know you, right? Like, there's only a couple of those motherfuckers that exist. And I'm super protected of those relationships, because me and you have both had tons of fucked up relationships within business and things over the years, right? That's a fact, because money gets involved and people get fucking weird that you thought were your friends and they're really not. And they're not really happy for you. They're really envious of it, or they feel like they're entitled to a piece of what you got or whatever. Like, I've had so much of that bullshit over time. Right. But the ones that are really like been there and know you, they know you before you had the aspirations. They know you whenever it was not about any of this. That is a real friend. And I would say that it's extremely hard to build that as an adult. I'm sure you can. I think I have at times. But do you ever really feel the same way as you do about your homeboy from fifth or sixth grade?
Because here's how it works, and you could probably attest to it in the exact opposite way. So as an adult, and yeah, we're a couple years apart, but they're pretty much the same age. So it's like, as an adult, I'm going to be in friend circles with adults that are in situations like mine, whether they be business owners or whether they be like single men. And you probably are meeting people who are married because you have a wife. So it's not really about you. Once again, your situation lines up at a period of time.
No question.
It's not like the real shit. You know what I'm saying? The real shit is through all that. When you have people who have been, when you had this girlfriend, when you had this wife, when you had this, that are there, that are baseline. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's really hard when you're older because you only really make new friends based on circumstantial things.
Yeah. Which is, So when you really start to like audit that part of your life too.
Right.
You got to be honest with yourself with that.
You have to be.
I think some people are naive about that, John.
Yeah, because here's what you don't see, right? And this is like no knock on anybody, but these are just like facts, right? So like, you have a wife in your social time. Like, even when I lived in Ohio, we weren't together a lot because you're with other couples, right? Yep. I'm going to be with other
or with my wife.
Correct. But when you're social, other couples, I'm going to be with other singles. People or whatever. So if you look at friendships, they're not based on circumstance. They're just based on one person to another connecting, being there in whatever way they can be there. So listen, it's a tricky thing. It's always going to be a tricky thing, but I think each person has to understand what they value in a friend. And they have to do their own audit on that relationship.
Well, and what you said a long time ago, early Activate Radio days, it never really left my brain when you were like, look, friendship in business, if you take it there, is just a luxury.
Absolutely.
And I think I've been fortunate, John, for us to do this podcast to uncover so much about each other over the last, what we've been doing this now, 4 years.
Roughly,
Like, yeah. There's no way we would have ever had this much dialogue, no matter how much money we made, no matter how much. And we had some great conversations early because we were trying to get to know each other. But like to be able to respect a person at a different level because you've seen them almost cry about certain situations, understand what they really went through, understand what they're really about, understand, how strong or their personality is on certain things, understand what they want for them. Like, it's almost impossible, but these are things that happen when you have friends from a kid, all that stuff kind of happens because you're kind of growing up together. And it's really hard. You have to spend such a concentrated amount of time of talking about real stuff to then have a real understanding. And I just think we would have never, ever done that if we didn't do this. So I would never have the same, it would be impossible for me to feel the way that I feel towards you if I didn't go through this process, which most adults are not going to fucking do. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And what I would say is, to me, a real friend, a good friend is the one, it's almost just like, I won't connect it to business. I'll keep it on the friend. A real friend, a good friend is the one who tells you the things or has the courage to tell you the things that you don't want to hear when you need to hear them. You know, that's someone who really cares about you, because if someone's willing to put the relationships in harm's way for what they know is right, that is someone who actually cares. It's really easy, and this goes for any form of life. When there's success or it's all happy it's easy to get along. It's easy, but when shit goes bad and someone it isn't blaming, but basically just hits you with the fucking truth, like, hey, that's someone who cares because they're risking a confrontation, a conflict for the betterment, the long-term betterment of the relationship,
Yeah. And obviously back in the day, you ran into some hard conversations with people that really loved you because they cared about you and you knew they were your real friend.
Correct. In retrospect, yes.
Yeah. So, but doesn't mean you loved it at the time, but you start to, you get a exactly. Like, you value it once you come to, like the terms like, oh, fuck, this person really had my best interest.
Once you're willing to accept the truth, because a lot of people fight that motherfucker until it just fucking breaks them down.
Yeah. No kidding, man. Some great dialogue, Johnny.
Yeah, absolutely. Good shit.
I think we kind of wrap it up. We got a good solid hour, some solid topics like self-control, self-discipline, fake friends, getting on track, living in Miami, popping bottles.
Yeah. Like is your penis involved at the grocery store? All these.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer either, but I know that, I wish that you could have a movie of portions of that part of your life, though, John, so we could witness it.
Hey, it was well before that. There's the movie could start way earlier. Okay,
sure.
The movie. Oh yeah.
Make sure you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Share it with all your friends, of course. And without further ado, we out of here. Johnny Fosco.
Gee.
Can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast
can't be stopped. All right, we'll do intro. 3, 2, 1. On this episode, we're going to help you with self-control, self-discipline. Don't live in South Beach. Don't live. There's some stories that we're going to help you with. I think this is a great episode, John, just in life in general.
Yeah, we go a lot of different directions. There's some good times here. We talk about the one thing that brings trouble to most men, but overall we talk about discipline. And discipline isn't some fucking drill sergeant who just can master his mind. Discipline is knowing when and where to be and when and where not to be, So we dig into that.
You got it. Let's go to the show.